Good afternoon, 11:28, 10:14, 10:14, Monday, midday video. Let's get it going. Hopefully you just read the disclosure and we shall start. Once again, my name is Scott Ruther, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. It is Monday. We're going to do a real quick midday video for those of you who would like to take a look. We came in today, the futures were lower based on the tweet or the news from China State Media saying that they need to talk a little bit more before phase one gets signed. So that had the futures lower, made a little bit of sense, right? We had that flash sell off into the close on Friday to get some people thinking, maybe we need a little bit more time before we break out or before we get some confirmation on further, agreements. So either way, what did we know? We knew that you had Friday's gap pivot. What's Friday's gap pivot? Meaning Friday's low, and then you had a whole big space of a trap door if the market wanted below to fill it or not. So in the first hour, we did get some lows in and we came off those lows. So now we have some new points of reference for the week. What does that mean? Well, let's get into it. So here's the SPYs. Okay, so we came in today. A lot of guys over the weekend were talking about this, gravestone doji, okay, or topping tail. To me, I was, I was fine with it considering where we came from early last week. So from 288 up to 290, 10 points or, in the SPYs or 100 handles, you would think we can pack and fill a little bit. So all in all today, I would say you still have to be neutral to positive. Why would I say you have to be neutral to positive? Well, first, they could have filled the entire gap, which they might. So to me now, as long as we're above these moving averages, I'm going to try and be constructive on the market, try and hold a few things and just do it a little carefully because still lots of divergences. All stocks aren't participating, but there's definitely some things to hold a little bit more than just a morning scalp or day trade or a day trade in a quarter or so. So this was Friday's low, 296.14. We did get above it before, and now we're just hovering around it. If you want, you could be long verse 295.57. I'm actually long some SPYs. I bought it in the hole and I put a stop in. So guys are like, red dog, when you go to the gym at 12 o'clock, how could you leave with positions? I'm like, well, it's based on my trade. My trade is that, okay, we put a low in the morning from Friday's high to today's low. Decent move. I'm kind of thinking we stay in this area for a few days while some stocks act better than others. So for me, the trade would change if I'm not on my seat if we break below 295.57. So that's my stop, because once we get below this, if we do, right now it's 11:31. There's room all the way to 294.21, which is $1.30 below. And I'm not just putting orders in to buy more of it because you never know with the tweets and what happens. So at least it's calculated. So if we could stay above and let the moving averages catch up, and if this happens to be the low of the day, I would think, within a few days we work off this candle. Q's very similar. Q's even stronger. Like, look at that. It didn't even push into this gap. So 190.72 is Friday's low. So right now, if we want to look at relative strength, the Qs are still relatively stronger to the rest of the market, as it didn't even come in to fill a portion of this gap, which it could have. So for now, today's low is what? 190.65. What's this? 190.70. Oh, actually it did. 7 cents. I'm not even going to put that in there. So all in all, very healthy. So with that being said, keep watching the Qs, because it's giving some clues. So if you were long and said, hey, I'm going to be long the Qs, like if I was long the Qs right now, which I'm not, I'm long some tech, I would say, hey, 190, might as well put it in. 190.65 is your new point of reference for the week. If this gap holds, that's power, guys. If, going sideways, it holds a few days and then goes, that's telling you probably that we're going back towards the highs of this range, and that means the S&P could also. If they want to shake it up, they could fill this gap a little bit. But what do you know now at 11:30 on a Monday after all the news of the weekend? 190.65 is your pivot low. So in order to get into that gap, it's got to go below that. If you want it to be long and say, hey, if we hold this for the week, there's power, I know what I'm in for, you could be long versus that. IWM is still a whole lot of nothing. Little weaker, but it did hold this little pivot. Remember this pivot here? That's where it broke above and wound up going as high as what? 150, 196. I did put that in there. I don't know why it's not there now. Didn't save. 151.96. So it's still in this big channel. It's fine when it's not a headwind. And at this point, I guess if it could hang above here, maybe it actually plays a little bit of catch up. If the market wants to go higher, it's going to need to be a little bit more broad based, so it'll have to go. Oil's very weak, so this was weaker. But overall, this lower end of the channel held, and it's just not a whole lot to do here. Tomorrow morning, the banks, everyone's like, Red Dog, are you taking options into the banks? I really don't have a thesis on any of them. I'm just kind of hoping that they don't become a headwind. And at this point, expectations are so damn low, I don't know how they could be. JP Morgan, real quick, because that is the leader, and that's Tuesday morning. Look what this did. This did, a little Red Dog reversal with a gap pivot. What do I mean by that? Well, it opened below Friday's low, which is right here, and reclaimed it. So 115.87, right? That was Friday's low. Okay, now it's where is it now? 116.66. Wow. So nice little trade there. If you bought it, said, hey, I'm going to buy it if it reclaims Friday's low, and then put a stop in at today's low. Either way, though, you take a bigger look at this. This is your 2-year chart for the banks to get exciting, I guess. It's got to get above first 117.99, then 120.40. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying that would help the overall tape and the overall other banks, perhaps. But for me, I'm just going to watch it and see how it shakes out. As far as tech, not all tech is created equal. We've been saying this since August, since the cloud software names kind of broke trends and broke their 8 and 21 day. We know that's the rule. Below the 8 and 21 day, you're not long, you're trading. You reclaim the 8 and 21 day, maybe you try and hold some and then see if it could stay special to stick with some. So anyway, Apple's been my best trade for weeks now. Why is Apple one of my best trades? Because what is it? Above right here, really. Actually, this was first thing. This was our first nice swing trade. Nice wedge formation, gapped up, held the 8. They gave you a really nice move before it put a little bit of a reversal in here. Then it was very choppy like everything else. And then right here, you had that Red Dog reversal where it went below 217 and reclaimed it. And then the next day, you had your gap up, held the 8 day again. And I think right here is when I re-entered my swing again. And from there, it's been a nice trade from 225 to all-time highs above the 8 day. First one to go green. Lots of things to do, lots of ways to trade it. I am in the least amount of Apple that I've had since this day, but I'm still sticking with it because once you get out of it, if it continues to go, it's hard to get back into it. And sometimes you have to stay engaged. It can't be perfect, and this has been great. Google also has been best in breed. Choppier, obviously, than Apple. It's not at all-time highs. It's back above all the moving averages now. I am not in Google, but I would think reclaim 213. So some of you were looking for that type of pattern where it was as low as 211. So $2 of risk, and then it went up 8. So now change this, and as long as this holds, just say 211, which is today's low, and goes sideways above this little mini trend line, perhaps there's another trade here moving forward. So and I explained it there. Facebook also, you can't say not so bad considering we said kind of hold this 181 or 182. I know that Senator Warren or Elizabeth Warren was all over them again and wound up holding in there. So this is an inside day. The longer it stays above this little area, maybe the more it develops into another tradable pattern like this one when it went sideways and went. As far as Amazon, to me, I'm avoiding it. It's kind of, something has to happen with Amazon. I don't, for me to trade it again. Well, every time I try and think it's gonna catch up, it doesn't. Like Friday, I lost money in it, and I'm not looking to lose money again in it. I will wait. It's below all the moving averages. The bears are still talking about the left shoulder, the head, and how it's below all the moving averages. And we don't sit in stocks that are below all the moving averages, especially something like Amazon. We'll wait. As far as Netflix reporting, I think either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure which one. I think Tuesday, or maybe it's Wednesday. I could probably search it right now, but either way, it's not today. It had its little oversold bounce. Remember this 260 area, this Red Dog reversal cleaned people out, and then held in there. Wide range bar on I think this was Thursday, Friday. Not even inside day. I have no opinion on Netflix except for they did bounce it a bit, so it's not as oversold and priced for a horrendous report. So we'll see what happens with the subs, and I'll get into more of this maybe at the recap or tomorrow morning. all in all, not much to do there today. I didn't even touch it today. Roku, great vehicle. Last year was fantastic. Remember this trend, which was fantastic to play. Then it broke. We got out of the way. Then I think we started playing it again, not in here, but on this gap up. Then held the 8-day, and then this was your reversal to say, hey, I got to be done with this for a while. Lost the 8 and 21-day, which we get out of the way. We don't want to hold stocks like that. If anything, maybe you look short, and then little bear flag, continued down. And then really last week's trade was right here on this day when the market came in. It showed nice relative strength. Took a lot home even though it was Rosh Hashanah. Got paid. And then little reversal, and now it's a little choppier. I did buy a little bit verse today's low. Today's low is 118.75. So, that is today's low. So again, people ask me like, where is my stop? For me, I'm trying to see if this stays special. It could even come in a little bit more, and because that's what Roku does. It's a very volatile stock, but for me, I don't need to sit in it. So I am in some Roku. I had a decent trade earlier as it went green and pushed, and now I'm just sitting in some. And if it can go sideways for a little bit, maybe it develops a little bit of a bull flag here to continue higher, or just fails. And if it fails, I'll be out of it. So my stop is 118.70. Okay, so it's not like, it's a dollar and change. Oh, Red Dog, you give me a dollar and change? Yes, because it does move around. But if it holds that, it's fine. If it, I also made some money on the push. What do I mean by the push? Well, here, go to your one-day chart. It's a great trade. Started off, in the red. Then all of a sudden made a higher low here. Got involved. Then had a nice little divergence there. Another higher low added, and then I sold the majority into that, and then I basically just held small. So I figured, after this break here, I could have gotten flat, but I decided not to. I'm like, let me hold a little bit just to stay engaged. I'm like paying to watch, and now it's come in, and we'll see here. Some guys I would say, hey, if you want it to be a little tighter on your stop, you could give it to 119.60, but I'm going to give it to all the way down here, which is the low of the day, considering I funded the position by making good money on this move and even more money on that move. So now if I'm down a little bit on the leftovers, it's fine. It's my trailer. Sometimes trailers work, sometimes they don't. That's just a little midday lesson for you. Guys are making money with Tesla, actually. Last week we started talking about how it was acting better. So you go to Tesla. This was the chart this morning. Took out, again, now it's almost above the 200-day. Wow. Remember this, first push, came in, red dog reversal, push up, higher low, took out this 238 area now. It's acting better. It's definitely acting better. Whereas this was trending lower, and now it's back above all the moving averages, so you just can't be blindly short Tesla. You can't buy every second and take out new highs, et cetera, but it has room, and it's strong today. And it's something that's been on my radar. I'm not that active there because I'm active in so many other things, but this has been a little bit better. The cloud names were, last week we started to target them for a lower level trade, and I took mine off in TTD today. Just even though that's TTD. I'm sorry, Twilio. TTD actually looks good. It looks as if it's going to break above this 201.90 and get to 214, but you got to see volume. I didn't go with that one. I just listed it. Twilio was the one I went with, and it took this out, and I just wanted to sell in front of the 200-day. Started buying. I didn't even come in long on Friday. I bought the first dip and the VTF saw, and then I took some home. Bought some more this morning when it was red. Took this out, and now I'm done with it. And that's how you make money on a day-and-a-half tactic. I'm not a I don't have a thesis on this, et cetera, but every now and then there are trades. This broke special status there, confirmed it here, bear flag break, and from down here I was like, it's worth a trade and try, and it worked out pretty well. So it's 11:42 now. Let's take one more look at where the spies are right now. Took back 296.14. Here's the morning low. That's your reactionary low. You have reactionary lows to start the week. If this morning low is the low of the week, the bears can't growl too loud. Doesn't mean it's going to be. I'm just saying. And we still have headlines, still have things going on. We have earnings starting, so don't get complacent. Keep taking trades and keep using your tier system so you could book some money, and then you could let some trailers trail. And then if you get stopped at your trailer, you revisit. And with that said, I'll see you at the recap. Have a good day for the rest of the day. And if you want to tune in Fox Business, I'll be on at 3:05. Bye-bye.